Today we consider oil. Where's it going next? Up or down? That is the question we all want to know the answer to, or at least I do, and so that's the question I'm going to be asking myself today. And I'm going to start with a little background. We're going to use Brent as our benchmark. And by the way, a little bit of insider info. Whenever I talk about crude oil, the number of hits the video gets plummets, and that's been the case for years. House prices, Bitcoin, gold, viewers can't get enough, but oil, few seem to care. And perhaps that in itself is a bullish contrarian indicator. And I sort of found it a reliable investment strategy over the years, especially with commodities, to find markets that nobody cares about. Boring markets, it means the hype is still to come. And I come to this piece with a slightly blinkered view. Generally speaking, I'm an oil bull. In 2016, when oil slipped below $30, I declared oil my trade of the lustrum. A lustrum, for those of you that are unfamiliar with the word, is a 5-year period. So that trade is now maturing. And my chosen vehicle wasn't BP or Shell, the first companies that spring to mind as the way to play the oil price. For some reason, I don't know why, but both are useless as proxies. And so we declared a void, and I'm sort of pleased and justified by that declaration. The oil price has more than doubled, and BP and Shell are both down. Never sell Shell is the motto, but my advice is never buy it. Our chosen vehicle was BHP Billiton at 700p, and despite being known as a mining giant, oil is its largest single product, and unlike the ETFs, it acts as a much better proxy, and it sort of tracks the oil price and gives you a bit of fizz on top. Brent's roughly doubled since our lustrum declaration, going from $36 to $75. BHP has more than tripled. We recommended it at 700p, and it's now like £2.30 or something. The noughties was the oil decade. In 1999, oil went below $10 a barrel. Can you imagine? In early 2008, it was nearly $150 a barrel, a 15-bagger no less. And the 2010s began well. Brent was constantly trading above $100, and then in mid-2014, 2 years of horrible bear market saw it drop from about $115 to $27 around about the beginning of 2016, and that's when we started sniffing around. But it hasn't been an easy lustrum, well, though it began. In late 2018, 3 years after our declaration, oil was flirting with $90, $87 a barrel, and we looked mightily clever, and we sat stroking our white cat and telling anyone who'd listen how clever we were. And by 2020, the oil price had gone negative. And to this day, I still don't know what happened to the cat. But anyway, we hodled for dear life like the most committed of Bitcoin zealots, and the market has now rewarded us. And now, at the moment, I'm feeling a little bit jumpy again. Oil looks like it wants to sell off. In fact, last week it did sell off. It lost about $10 in barely the blink of an eye, but it sort of bounced back again with quite a lot of impressive vim. But it's sort of in an intermediate term downtrend, and there's this spat between Saudi Arabia and the UAE over oil production quotas. That seems to have abated, and now the OPEC nations, together with Russia, have agreed to increase their output with the aim of reducing prices and easing pressure on the world economy. Now, and this supply boost is supposed to start in August. And please, I don't understand OPEC or how that line of thinking works. Surely, if you are selling something, you want to get the most you can for it. Not the least. And if you're an oil producer, you want a bull market, especially if oil supplies really are running down. The pressure to get the biggest return intensifies. Surely, they're not producing oil for the fun of it or for charity. Anyway, it's always baffled me, and no doubt there's some kind of geopolitical shadiness behind the scenes that I don't know about, but that it would explain it all. Anyway, in the meantime, I shake my head and carry on. BHP, meanwhile, has gone up a lot, which shows you the kind of logic I get reduced to sometimes. And often when something has gone up a lot, that means it has to at least pause, doesn't it? No, not really is the answer. But anyway, let's give you some broad brushstrokes. Oil demand, green energy revolution or not, is set to increase. The COVID setback will look like a blip on a long-term chart of oil demand. It fell by around 10%, but it bounced straight back, and now demand looks like it's going to be 100 million barrels per day next year. And I keep banging the drum on this, but the green energy revolution is going to increase oil demand. Meanwhile, social pressure and government pressure through taxes and laws and regulations is going to mean reduced expenditure on exploration and development, and the result will be higher prices. So I guess my outlook is that we consolidate over the next few months. We back and fill. We might even have to go back and have another look at $50. But in the longer term, oil goes higher, much higher. And oil at $100 in 2022 is not such a remote possibility in my view. Thanks very much for watching. I'll be back with another video very soon. In the meantime, please subscribe to my channel.